I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Monday, February the 2nd, with news from Arkansas. A state pay commission finalized its recommendations for pay increases for legislators, judges, and statewide officials. They stuck with recommendations they'd arrived at Friday. These will mean big pay increases, anywhere from 11 to 100% or more for several of these officials. State legislators will get a 145% pay increase, but they'll have to give up some expenses. If you think this is too much, you've got a chance to comment. Public comments will be taken for the next month before they're finalized March the 13th, and then they will take effect. The legislature this morning, the Legislative Black Caucus, met and heard from state officials about the decision to take over the Little Rock School District. They had a lot of tough questions, and they certainly did reveal that the state really has no plan in place to take over the district, doesn't really have the means at its disposal to do so, and didn't have a really good explanation when it turned out they have taken the Marianna School District, Lee County, off academic distress, although without showing an improvement in test scores. A lot of politics left to be learned about this. We did learn late Friday that a famous consulting group, Boston Consulting Group, is going to be in the Little Rock School District in the next few days, courtesy of the Walton Family Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation. They're going to be looking at the schools and come up with some recommendations. We know that BCG has come up with recommendations in other cities that the bulk of public education be taken over by private companies in the form of charter schools and other operations. Is that in the future here? We don't yet know. Some people say not, but I'd look for that to happen. Mike Huckabee continues to make headlines of the worst sort as a presidential candidate. Sunday on CNN, he compared gay marriage to being something akin to drinking or cursing or going to the ballet, other things he doesn't approve of. Terrible thing to say. He's getting a ton of attention, none of it very good, at trying to be a culture warrior. He also turned up today as a paid spokesman for a natural diabetes cure. He acknowledges, he says it's been great for him. He does acknowledge that he's put a few more pounds back on, but he's healthy as he can be, he says. Fit as a fiddle, I think was his term. The legislature has introduced at least 5, maybe more gun bills to have them in more places in public life and to make their use more protected under the law. Interestingly enough, these bills include forcing colleges to allow staff members to keep guns on campus, forcing county buildings to allow their employees to have guns on their buildings, but they're a little nervous about allowing guns in the Capitol. Gee, I thought having more guns made you safer. Why would the legislature care? Being a former legislator is good news for some people. Ann Clemmer, a former legislator who lost the race for Congress last year, landed a $108,000 job Friday at the Arkansas Higher Education Department. That job was not advertised before she got it. This follows the $109,000 job Stacey Hurst got after losing a race for State House of Representatives. Learned today, too, that former legislator Tracy Steele, who endorsed Asa Hutchinson, a Republican, though Steele is a Democrat in the campaign, he's turned up as one of the $200 a day lobbyists for Governor Asa Hutchinson. Good work if you can get it. Nate Bell, the Republican from Mena, went before the Black Caucus this morning as well, and he said he'll try again on his bill to decouple Robert E. Lee from the Martin Luther King holiday. He said if it fails, he'll join hands with Fred Love, a black Democrat, and try to pass his bill to do it. He urges the caucus to turn out for the next committee meeting. At the last time, it was mostly Confederate veterans and South Shall Rise Again secessionists who turned out to oppose his bill. Arkansas Business had a good story today. They got an early copy of Charles Morgan's new memoir. He's the former CEO of Acxiom. I don't think it's Shakespeare, as somebody said, and the life of a data cruncher is not necessarily the most interesting thing, but he talked very openly about his messy divorce from his wife, in which she got $37 million worth of stock, and his womanizing during his married years and while CEO at Acxiom. So he did reveal a little bit about himself, not all entirely flattering. Finally, I'd urge you to keep checking the blog today. We're tracking a very interesting story about the specific nature of what could be a $100 million arts center project on the Arkansas River in North Little Rock. It would be contingent on a sales tax increase and a lot of other things, but it's a very interesting rumor, and we're about to pin this story down, and I urge you to take a look. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.